Week 3 is recovering a sense of power. And I want to start by reading a quote from the book. This is what Julia says about growth. Growth is an erratic forward movement. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Remember that and be very gentle with yourself. A creative recovery is a healing process. You are capable of great things on Tuesday, but on Wednesday, you may slide backwards. This is normal. Growth occurs in spurts. You will be dormant sometimes. Do not be discouraged. Think of it as resting. So the chapter summary. Actually, let me go get my phone. I have notes. Okay, don't fall. Don't fall. She was a fairy. Yup. She was a baddie. Yup. Not a saddie. What? Let me go. Oh, I'm hungry. I'm very comfortable in my body. I don't care about beauty norms. I think my face is tea and I think my body tea. I have an average looking body and face. What else could you ask for? So this week, Julia talks about anger, shame, criticism, and synchronicity. She talks about anger and emotions that are suppressed. She also talks about shame around confidence and creativity. This week was a really good week. I had some key takeaways. I can see how chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 all work together now. So chapter 1 talked about audacity, like how often it's audacity and not talent that gets a artist far. Then chapter 2 talks about self-belief. Knowing who you are, believing who you are often gets an artist far. So chapter 3, we talk about synchronicity, and I had a lot of synchronicity happen this week. Julia described synchronicity as like 1,000 helping hands. And Julia says in the book that often when you ask an artist how they got where they got, they say, oh, it was just a bunch of like lucky occurrences and people who stepped forward who wanted to help me. That's what synchronicity is. That's also what luck is. And I was like, oh, I get it. So basically, I just gotta stay ready so I don't have to get ready. And ultimately, somebody will see me and I'll go far. Recovering a sense of power for me has to do with steadiness. Right now, my life doesn't look fully the way I want it to look. And that's really frustrating. I experience a lot of sadness and I feel like stuck. And it's hard to accept that there's a process of recovering and stabilizing myself. I realized that steadiness is staying centered no matter how you feel, no matter what crisis goes around is around you, right? When I can stay steady, even though my life does not look the way I want it to look, that is me stepping into and recovering my power. And steadiness to me looks like creating every day with what I have. Right now, it feels like a waiting period. And the best thing for me to do while waiting is to make a large volume of work, write a lot of jokes, heal through this, recovery process and stuff like that, so that when the opportunities do start coming in and I'm ready to get back on stage and things like that, I'm already prepared. And that's what steadiness is like for me, because a lot of the time I just want to lay in bed and I'm frustrated and I just want this to be over and I want my life to be back online. But there's so much restriction having to do with poverty, so many things that are keeping me still that I don't like. And so if I'm in this waiting room, why not just make the best of it? You know what I mean? So this week, a lot of synchronicity happened for me. One of my friends just sent me a set of pots. And I was just so grateful because that way I can cook and I can nourish myself because I don't have anything here. All my like pots, pans, and stuff like that are in my storage. So then that was one form of synchronicity that felt like a helping hand. Another form of synchronicity has to do with me paying both my storages. So I have 2 storages. One storage said that I didn't have to pay anything this month. And that was such a relief. It just cleared my mind of so much stress. And then another storage said, hey, here's the thing. Since you were able to make this payment for January, why don't we do this? I can give you a one-time courtesy where I clear everything out, put your balance to 0, and we start fresh starting in February. And when I tell you, I cried. And I was like, thank you so much. God bless you. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it. I just needed a break. And I didn't ask for that. It was literally these people just they called me and they were like, hey, this is what we want to do for you. And that's what synchronicity feels like for me. It's like these small little things that happen that make my life a little bit easier, or it's like something beyond my control shifted for my benefit. And it was as soon as I surrendered, as soon as I just accepted things, because I almost lost my storage and I was running around, trying to sell plasma, looking depleted, just like really anxious. And once I got myself centered and I accepted things and I was like, hey, Charm, you can't keep doing this to your body. That's when literally both storage units were like, hey, we're going to give you a break. And that honestly feels like God. So that was cool. Then I felt really in sync with my art. And I didn't get to do my artist date because I was creating. I felt this surge of creativity, and I put out videos on YouTube, and I put out videos on Instagram, and I put out videos on Facebook, and it was getting good reaction. I felt very creative. It was a hard week. It was stressful, but what was really good about it is that the stress that I felt, the anger, the frustration, the anxiety, I was able to reroute it or alchemize it. And I was really creative and was able to make like 4 or 5 different jokes that I ended up posting on social media. This week, I had to make a lot of big decisions about cutting things out of my calendar and really redirecting my energy to me so that I can fill my own cup. And I'm just not in recovery from my creativity. I'm in recovery from a long period of it's crisis, survival. I'm in recovery from prolonged hardship. My body is just not feeling well. That means that I gotta spend a lot of time being gentle to myself, compassionate with myself, and making sure that I have the space to heal. One thing I realized this week is that I wasn't a creative or an artist that was blocked because I lacked confidence. I was blocked because I was made to feel shame for my confidence. A lot of people took my confidence as arrogance or as being a know-it-all or as somebody who didn't want to go through the process. And that's not what it was at all. I always believed in myself. I believed that if I put in the hard work and if I followed a certain program, then I could excel at whatever. I was very confident about being a beginner, very confident about being a student, very comfortable with the process. And I would show up in that confidence and talk about the craft, and people would really misunderstand me. And I'm talking specifically about comedy. So I know I'm smart. I know I'm capable. I know I'm funny. I know I'm entertaining. Okay. People's discomfort with my confidence is their issue. That's what I realized, is that people really wanted to shrink me, and they wanted to make me think that I wasn't being humble and that I was being egotistical. But the truth is, I just always knew who I was. And I knew that I know that I'm meant for great things. This week, my morning pages, I did them 7 out of 7. My artist date, I did not do my artist date because I was in the middle of just being creative all weekend. I was sucked into my creative work. There was this like flicker within me, this feeling of accountability to my artists. And I found myself talking to my inner child and telling them that I'm going to make it up to them, that we're going to go on 2 artist dates next week, and that I love them very much. And that, we had fun creating. And it's just, we were creating so much that time got away from us and we didn't have enough time to do the artist date. My daily affirmations, I did them about like 4 or 5 times this week. I read the basic principles every now and then. And I think I read the rules for the road like once. And I got audience feedback and small growth online, which it feels really good. I used to not think that it would be possible for me, but it's happening. And I'm committed to putting 1 joke out every day. The issues that I had this week were significant emotional fluctuation, kind of feeling all over the place, very distracted, intense fatigue and sleep irregularity, fear of losing momentum, because I'm getting momentum right now. and I feel a shift. I feel different inside. And I just had this like, I'm like, what if I can't continue this? Oh, and then I got one person who I care about their approval in the comedy scene that unfollowed me. And that brought up like wounds around criticism, even though it wasn't a direct criticism on my work. Literally, this is the type of person that they only follow people that they truly want to support or they think are funny. So in my mind, I'm like, you unfollow me because you don't think I'm funny, and that's a critique. And I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just take it to the chin. They don't see what I see. I know that I'm in the process of like, finding my voice and really honing my craft, and I'm just putting the process out online. I'm showing up, I'm being very vulnerable, and I'm not trying to put out polished stuff. I'm just trying to do as much work as possible to just get it out. So this is my closing reflection. This week marked a huge turning point. I started to put out more content than I ever have before. I feel very creative. I'm getting responses from people. I'm building a small community. Woohoo! Like, this is really, really great. My power is returning through consistency and self-trust. Right now, I'm in a point of restarting out loud, but this is not my final destination. And there are some people that are going to judge me off of the content that I'm putting out right now and, call it trash or even just judge me on my restart. And I'm completely fine with that. I'm really committed to staying steady, being centered, and moving forward. I felt amazing this week. I really do feel like I've stepped back into my power. I feel more confident. I feel more like myself. There's so much that I'm letting go of. I do miss my sneaky link, but I'm trying to practice self-respect and not operate from a scarcity mindset, because what's meant for me is out there. And right now, I'm just being tested with being steady, with staying focused, with practicing restraint, and I'm okay with that.